And good afternoon, everyone out in the StrokeHacker world. My name is Bill Degnan, and we are doing StrokeHacker Live. This is a somewhat new, I'll call it podcast that we're doing. We're trying to just continually grow a community of people hacking their stroke and learning new techniques, modalities, therapies, anything to make stroke recovery better and more effective. And we're going to call this a podcast, even though a lot of you in the Facebook world can see us live. This ultimately ends up going over to our YouTube. We have a YouTube channel called StrokeHacker, and we also have coming up soon a podcast that will be on iTunes and Stitcher. So this will just be kind of in a podcast format, so you'll see us in the future, talking more about that and calling it that, but it originates as a Facebook Live show. So today, I'm super excited to have Iris Fry Doolittle on the broadcast, and she is a remarkable stroke survivor. And how are you doing, Iris?
I'm doing great, Bill. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Iris and I just met a couple of minutes ago when we started this up, so I haven't gotten an opportunity to get to know her. So we're going to do that today. I will say this, I have seen her as a frequent contributor to the StrokeHacker Group, and she's always got a smile on her face, always has something positive to offer, and she's always quick to point out that she had her stroke in, I should probably open it to the floor to see if anybody can guess, but I'm going to go ahead and put it up. She had it in, when was that?
May 14th, 1985.
1985. So, I think we've sadly seen a whole host of, millions of people who have had their stroke since then. So I hate to say you're a pioneer of any sort. You're certainly someone who has been able to thrive and teach others. And so what I'd love for you to do is if you could just give a brief description of, where, your early childhood. You told me a little bit about some of your career. If you could tell me a bit about that and lead into, what it was like when you had your stroke.
Okay, Bill, I will. When I was born, I was singing and playing piano. It was just something that I did naturally, and my mom said even in the womb she could feel me singing and playing the piano. So piano has been my life. Music has been my life. I graduated from a liberal arts college with a degree in piano performance. I was doing a lot of different things with the piano. I'd been teaching since I was 15 years old. So that was my life. A few years after I was married, I had this lovely stroke. It changed everything. I thought I'd never play the piano again. And I was pretty bummed about that about 6 months after I had the stroke. My mom said, well, you've got one hand, don't you? And so I realized I still had my left hand, my left foot. And so I continued to do performances that way and made a living one-handed.
Okay, now you've blown my mind. How in the world did you just do that with your left hand?
Like this.
All right. So after this, you've got to figure out how to show me a video or something of that. I have to see that.
Yes, you can.
Awesome.
On YouTube, I have a pile of videos. Just search for Iris Fry Doolittle. You'll see videos of me playing the organ. I think there's one of me playing the piano, but also I have a lot of little videos that show me doing things now that I have started using a protocol.
And have you ultimately been able to migrate to using your right hand again in playing?
Yes.
Fast forwarding too much.
It'll come.
That for later. Okay. All right.
So when I had the stroke, after I became a left-handed pianist and continued doing that until 2014. Well, even now, I still do that.
So a long time after your stroke.
Yes. Yes, right. And I was not sleeping very well and had complained on Facebook at 2:00 in the morning. And my husband's cousin said, you should try lavender. And so I tried lavender, and it changed my life. I started using essential oils, and that was in August. By January of 2015, I knew I had to share these. In 2016, I was at a conference with a friend of mine, and she tried 8 different oils on me topically. You can use oils topically, aromatically, and you can ingest most oils if they are pure and the best there is. So 5 minutes, and you can put the picture up of my hand.
All right, I will do that. Give me just a moment.
5 minutes after she was done, my hand, which had been curled.
I'm going to show the hand here. All right, give me just a moment. Little technical difficulties. There's your hand.
Yes, there's my hand. Before that, it had been curled, and now it just lay flat.
Wow.
And the arm was relaxed. Everything on my affected side was relaxed.
That's incredible.
Yes, I knew then that there's something to this. So I started using this protocol for myself for, I don't know, 6 months, and realized that there were a lot of things happening. I could reach up into cupboards, get a glass out of the cupboard, set it down, and then I could let go. And that is always the hardest part, is letting go. That hand just would not let go before. Now I can do that. I'm just doing laundry with my right hand, putting clothes in, taking them out, turning on the washing machine, things like that. And you can look on the YouTube and see those various things.
I think that's amazing. And I'm sure you're probably continuing to amaze people who maybe you haven't seen you in a few years to see your progress. You know,
yes.
Known you for a long time as not being able to. Okay, so let's talk about piano now.
Okay. What do you want to know?
I want to know then, what's it like now? Are you able to implement that right hand in a big way, or how do you do it?
The right hand is playing scales not very well, but each finger is working independently now. I'm a public speaker, so on my speaking engagements, I am now playing at the end of the program a hymn with my right hand first playing the melody, then I go to the left hand to finish it out. But it's playing, and that is wonderful. Every time I practice, I kind of get choked up because look, I can use both hands. This is amazing.
Well, I hope that all of you guys out in the Stroke Hacker world will hit us up on the StrokeHacker Group. Remind us that we need to link something on the group from your YouTube page demonstrating some of this. So I can't wait to see it. So now I'm a little bit upset with myself for not having investigated this further before the show, but we'll do that later. But that's an incredible story. I do have, I wanted to show this. I didn't really talk to you about, but I've got on your, on the screen a way that people can read about you or your writings. You have a blog, it seems, and it's irisfrydoolittle.blogspot.com. And where else would people find your work?
They can look at the YouTube channel, as I said, search for Iris Fry Doolittle. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, and I sell doTERRA essential oils. So I also have a doTERRA website that they can look at, and we can post all those things.
All right, definitely. Yeah, and I'm pretty amazed at your story. I'm sure a lot of people will want to investigate that further. So awesome. So now, before we go, it struck me the first time that I saw you being a part of the StrokeHacker Group that you do seem a little unique to me in that I don't always see people who have had a stroke so long ago. And I don't know why that is, but, because it seems that a lot of the people are, 5, 10, 15 years post-stroke, but not 33 years. So tell me, could you contrast and compare what it's like from what you witnessed today as far as stroke protocols go compared to when you had yours?
Yes. They had not invented the drug TPA when I had my stroke. Mm-hmm. That came out, maybe a year later. I'm not sure about that. And at that time, if you had a stroke, you were going to sit in the background for the rest of your life. And boy, that irked me to no end that I was going to have to sit and watch everybody else live instead of living myself. So TPA helped a lot. Nowadays, I see I'm on several different young stroke survivors groups because I want them to see that with a positive attitude, they can do anything.
Absolutely. So if I hear this all the time, it's all about mindset.
Yes, exactly.
And so what do you say to the ones, to people going through, similar things when you just can tell they're stuck? How do you help them?
It's a fine line between helping and saying, well, it'll get better. Mm-hmm. You have to take each individual person and find something good in what they're talking about. And encourage is so important.
Certainly. So what about the sort of recovery protocols that you witness these days compared to what you were offered, or were you offered anything?
They gave me physical therapy for a while, occupational therapy for a while, and I had wonderful people helping me with that. Now you can do all kinds of things for just getting your fingers to go again. And how do I say it? Well, there are all kinds of therapies you can use. Music therapy is wonderful. What Sean is doing with the Bulletproof Labs is amazing. So things like that, you've got to go out and find them quite often.
Yeah.
But they are there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give up. Never, never give up. Winston Churchill.
That's yet another sort of mantra I hear in this community a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so I hope that anyone sort of stuck right now really listens to that.
Yes.
And we're going to do more and more of trying to bring, just various, everyone's ideas to the table. Mm-hmm. And so part of this podcast is designed to get people like yourself to share what it is you're doing. Honestly, I know Sean and none of the people that I've been encountering through this have been, that I've been witness to have been utilizing essential oils for their therapy. Not that there aren't people doing it, but similarly, I would just, hope and pray that more and more people bring whatever modalities they're experimenting with, bring it to the table, talk about their experiences. So,
yes.
Because that's the goal here. And and another goal is to get my mug off of the air, so to speak. I don't want to keep doing this. I'm not very good at it, but I'm just more the technical guy who's trying to help, support the community. And so we're putting out an all call to people like yourself that want to carry on a conversation like we're doing here. Myself and Denise and a couple others who are, really on the team here will be happy to, set up the technical side of it. A person like, let's say that you were going to host a show, you would be sitting there just like you are now, get a link in an email or a text from us with a link. You click on it and you're on air, you're on camera, hooked to the internet, and then we'll bring on whatever guest you want to speak to, and they'll witness the same thing. They'll get an email, click on there. We can talk for a couple of minutes before we go to air to get to know each other. And so it's really low pressure. I think you can admit to that. Yes. We didn't have to work too hard on this today, but we're doing a show, so to speak, and we're able to share. So I want to encourage, anyone in the community who thinks I've got something to share, or I know a remarkable stroke survivor, or a medical professional, anything, any person that you think can bring something to the community and share with it. We want to support that. We want to be here as your support to be able to do exactly what we're doing right here and sharing, in a podcast format. And we'll do it as much as somebody's willing to do it. So I'm mentioning that to you, Iris, because I think you really want to do that, right?
Yes, I do.
All right, so and the same goes for blogging. We've started adding more and more blogs to the StrokeHacker site because, admittedly, there's a lot of great content about Sean on there, but that's just a starting point. The goal is to have more and more of the people in the community be profiled there and sharing there. So from a blog standpoint, you don't have to be a professional blogger. You don't even have to be able to really compose sentences that well. Just share your story with us by email at info@strokehacker.com, and then one of us, probably Denise, who's vastly more talented at it than any of us, will format it and proofread it and help sort of compose a blog telling your story or sharing something that is really relevant to the community. So we're putting the all call out for that as well, and really hope we can very quickly get people involved in that way. So and we're always looking for new ideas. So if you got ideas, shoot them at us. Mm-hmm. All right. So what else do you have to add for us today, Iris?
Well, Iris's protocol is now in the United States. It's in Canada. People are talking about it in Africa and in England.
Wow.
So
and how is it characterized? Is it in a do you have it written down somewhere, or is it a podcast? What is it?
I'm working on an ebook that should, hopefully we're going to get this out in the next week.
Okay.
It will be for sale for $5 talking about my protocol, but also the essential oils that I use daily for my stroke symptoms
Okay.
and general health. So it will be on my blog.
Okay.
As soon as I get everything together.
Okay.
I am like,
I want to make sure I get that back on the screen real quick for people, and we'll try to, well, I had it there and I lost it, but I can copy it back in. It's irisfrieddoolittle.blogspot.com. And that's your official blog. There's no other
right.
place to do that, right? Okay, good. Well, I'll make sure and get that on there. So, well, I know you must be super excited for that finally to be coming out in public format, and we'll be excited to see that ourselves. And feel free to share it to the community. And maybe when you host your first Stroke Hacker live show, you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right, guys. So just so you know, our Stroke Hacker live shows do they should automatically be going over to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/StrokeHacker, I believe. And also, soon to be, we're formatting this so that it'll also show up in a podcast format. So you've got several ways to watch this and share it. So hope that you'll do that. And hey, if you're still with us, I really would love if you would share it right now on your, as you're watching, share it with your friends or into other stroke community groups, and let's share. So that's what this is all about. So any last words?
I just want to thank you, Bill, for what you're doing, and Sean and everybody on your team. This is so important.
We agree, or we wouldn't be doing it, but thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Hey, where do you live anyway? What part of the country?
In Madison, Nebraska, in the middle of the country.
All right. That's, I'm sure, beautiful out there. Not today. Sure. It's probably cold as can be, but.
Well, it's still sunny. It looks pretty good.
All right. All right. Well, Iris, it's been a pleasure, and we're hopeful that we'll be able to connect with you again soon.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, everybody.